Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tika Kurnia Ilahi MD, and it is a wonderful and precious chance for me to be your master of ceremony in this beautiful afternoon. At our meeting room on Thursday, 23rd February 2023, in our event, SANQUIN Blood Safety International Seminar in Palang Merah, Indonesia, in theme Update Blood Transfusion, RBC, and Platelet Antigen Testing. First of all, let's say thanks to God who has been giving us guidance, happiness, healthy, and mercy, so we can attend and participate in this event without any obstacles. The respectable pengurus PMI Provinsi Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta, the honorable pengurus PMI Kota Yogyakarta, the honorable head of Unit Donor Darah PMI Kota Yogyakarta, the honorable head of UDD PMI Kabupaten Se-Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta, the honorable all the lecturers, Mr. Han Vrielink, MD PhD, from SANQUIN Blood Supply Foundation, and Mrs. Marga van Hulst Sondemeyer from Global Key Account Manager SANQUIN Reagent BV. The Honorable, the Dean, the Head of Studi Program, all the lecturer from POLITEKNIK Bhakti Setya, Indonesia. The Honorable all staff from SANQUIN Blood Supply Foundation. The Honorable PT MRK Diagnostic, and the Honorable all participants from Palang Merah, Indonesia, and POLITEKNIK Bhakti Setya, Indonesia. On this special afternoon, we have several agenda. So allow me to read several sequences of our agenda. The first is opening. Second is welcome speech from Palang Merah, Indonesia, Kota Yogyakarta. The third is welcome speech from POLITEKNIK Bhakti Setya, Indonesia. The third is welcome speech. The fourth is the expert lecture from Mr. Hans Vrielink, MD PhD, with the title RBC or platelet antigen is needed. And then the fifth is expert lecture from Mrs. Marga van Hulst with the title SANQUIN reagent RBC or platelet antigen testing. The sixth is question and answer session, and the last is closing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as the opening before we begin this event, let us pray together. May God make this seminar beneficial for all of us, and this event can run smoothly and conducively. Amen. Start praying. Finished. Okay, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, step on the following agenda are speeches. The first is welcoming speech from Dr. Andes Edi Heri Suasana, MPD, as pengurus PMI Kota Yogyakarta. Dear Mr. Edi, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Sugeng siang. Good afternoon to all of you. The Honorable, our speakers, Dr. Hans Vrielink and Dr. Marga van Hulst, invited guests, students, and my dear colleagues. It is my great pleasure on behalf of Indonesia Red Cross of Yogyakarta City to welcome all of you and the guest lecture today. I am very happy to tell you that this guest lecture were provided by SANQUIN Blood Supply Foundation, PT MRK, everything. Yes. I am very happy to tell you I'm very happy to tell you that this case lecture were provided by SANQUIN Blood Supply Foundation, cek. Okay. I'm sorry. PT PSI and PMI Kota Yogyakarta. This guest lecture provides a very important knowledge in immunohematology, specifically on antibody or antigen testing. Currently, the quality of blood products is very critical and also risk of transfusion reactions. As a blood donation unit, we need to take concern how to improve safety and quality of our blood products so that some additional testing may be considered to be implemented. On the next 2 hours, we will learn whether red blood cell or better and antigen testing is needed. And how about the reagent? We hope this guest lecture today will help us to expand our knowledge in medical transfusion science. And I request all participants to actively participate and enjoy this guest lecture. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Mr. Eki Heri Suasana MPD sebagai pengurus PMI Kota Yogyakarta for the enlightening speech. And the next is speech from Mrs. Widadari Murni SKM MPH as the head of study program for Fakultas Bhakti Setya Indonesia. Dear Mrs. Widadari, time is yours. Thank you very much for the Mujika. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Director of Fakultas Bhakti Setya Indonesia Yogyakarta, Dr. Andri Kusumawini MSc, Honorable Head of UDPMI Kota Yogyakarta, Honorable Special Speaker Dr. Vrielink MD PhD from SANQUIN Foundation Netherlands, and Honorable Special Speaker Ms. Marga from Global Key Account Manager for Belt Grouping Netherlands, which we are the students study program of Belt Teknologi atau PSI Yogyakarta who attended via Zoom meeting and our participants. I would like to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed speaker today, Dr. Hans and Ms. Marga. We are grateful for the opportunity to learn from your expertise and knowledge. We believe that this expert lecture will provide immense benefit to our students and studi program the Teknologi and Politeknik di Indonesia Jakarta. We appreciate the time and effort you have taken to share your insight with us, and we hope that you also get valuable experience from this meeting. We are confident that your knowledge and experience will provide valuable inspiration and motivation for our students as they pursue their future. Once again, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to learning from your expertise. To students, and all participants, we hope this expert lecture will be an enjoyable and beneficial learning experience for all of us enjoying the lecture. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. New speech, please. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Widadari Murni, SPM MPH, the head of study program for Expertise Indonesia. Okay, before we start the main session, let's take a photograph first to Mrs. Widadari, Mr. Edi, Mr. Hans, and Mrs. Marga. Please come to front to take a photograph.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, please have a seat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will start the main session in this seminar. This seminar has 2 lectures. First is Mr. Hans Vrielink, MD, PhD, that will explain about RBC or blood-brain antigen is needed. The second is Mrs. Marga van Hulst that will explain about SANQUIN reagent, RBC or blood-brain antigen testing. In this main session, Dr. Dian Eko Astarini and Biomed from Palang Merah Indonesia, Kota Yogyakarta will guide you all as a moderator. So, dear Dr. Dian Eko Astarini and Biomed, until closing section, the time is yours. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, all of you. My name is Dian Eko Astarini. I am going to be the moderator today on my schedule is presentation session. Today, the update in conclusion may take topic about FBC of lateral antigen testing. Now we have 2 guest lecturers who are already with us. Good afternoon, Mr. Marga and Mr. Hans. And now for the first lecture, we're going to Mr. Hans. Before that, I will read about the resume of curriculum of Mr. Hans.
you can see there's a lot of experience on Mr. Han. Okay. For the first, Mr. Han is from Mr. Han is from Amsterdam, Netherlands. Recent work. I can read all of that because if I read all that, I spend a lot of time. I think that. So I will read where is recent work now at SANQUIN blood supply as a consultant transfusion medicine and consultant emphasis consultant donor medicine and some portfolio of her team are at medical emphasis unit of transfusion medicine, senior scientist for emphasis research, and senior consultant at Center Consulting Service. And then education, medical school, University of Amsterdam, August 1985. Transfusion medicine specialist on December 1998. Remaining relevant experience, there are a lot of tools, but I read some. For the first trainer, various specialties like nurse, physician, scientist, medical school, Free University of Amsterdam, University Yogyakarta, and Surabaya. From 1997 until present. Regular reviewer from transfusions like Fox Sandwich, regular invited speaker on various meetings consultant, ASEAN Pacific for Economics, 2008 and until present. International trainer in Economics, 2012 until present. And you can see on the screen about the application, maybe. There are a lot of publications of you, Mr. Han. I can read all of them, so I will so about it. 19 Fox title publication on various international literature like Journal of Clinical Evidences, Lancet, transfusion medicine reformers, and transfusion and apheresis science, Fox Sandwich, and extra. I'm sorry, I can't get all. All right, Mr. Han, you have 30 minutes to present your slide. Time is your choice. Okay, you need more? Okay, it's
1 hour?
Yeah, 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour. Please.
Yeah, it's working.
Oh.
It's working. Sometimes you have that. I don't know why this slide is also there. So this is one of the slides of the next application, so I don't know why it's there. I'm Hans Vrielink, MD, PhD, which is mean I'm transfusion medicine specialist, which is at the event in the Indonesian Bahasa, plus Indonesia, SPPK. Yeah, so that's all. What's SANQUIN? SANQUIN Blood Supply Foundation is nothing else than up-to-date PME Belanda. So that's a little explanation of that. So I have only 20 minutes for 200 slides, so I go through, and I want also to ask you, who is a doctor? We have at least one doctor.
Doctor.
Oh, no, doctor, come on, doctor. And the remainder is in training. Okay. So I'm from the blood transfusion service. SANQUIN is an organization which has a commercial part and a non-commercial part. And I'm from the non-commercial part. I'm only advisor and of the other organizations. Besides that, I'm paid but me, I'm not paid, but my trip and my accommodation is paid by work and by SANQUIN reagents. Okay, this is a little bit the outline. So my first question to you is, red blood cell testing, antigen testing, is it needed? Yeah? I hope so too. Yeah, I think so. Yes. Because why? 120 years ago, Dr. Langsteiner in Austria did take blood from himself and from other doctors, and he mixed it, and he saw agglutination, and sometimes not. So he describes this, and he names this blood type A, B, and C. Later on, this C was replaced by blood type O, indeed. But he wrote down 0, blood type 0, blood type 0. Why? There's missing something with blood type. In fact, he detected the anti-A and the anti-B. And later on, they saw what it was intended. So what you do see is agglutination, and he saw it in vitro. And I bet you never want to see this in vitro. So when it's going to do the agglutination in vitro, there must be antibodies. Look at the black warts. There must be an antibody that connects the red cells to each other, and all, so you get a clot, intravascular clot. And you don't want that because your patient is at severe risk of dying. Besides that, because of the agglutination, this interaction of the immunoglobulin with the antigen on the membrane of this red cell, you have a complement activation. And with this complement activation, the cell wall is breaking. So the erythrocyte wall is breaking down. And what you get then when the cell wall is breaking down? I hear it whispering. You can't make any mistakes here. I'm here, and Marga is here, to give you education, to learn you about our knowledge, what we have learned, and to help you think for the future to make our patients, our Indonesian patients, better situation for our patients. That's why we do this work today or in the hospital. So hemolysis is very dangerous, and the agglutination also. So we get an intravascular hemolysis with a complement binding, and this is because of immunoglobulins, antibodies against something on the membrane of this red cell. So let's go to blood transfusion. We need to do compatibility testing. We need to check something. But so, how do we do this? Compatibility testing.
Cross-matching.
Cross-matching, indeed. But we take blindly a patient, take some blood, and blindly from the refrigerator we take also a bag of blood which is taken, and then we mix this together and see that that's cross-matching. No, because what you do is you go type the blood type of your patient. And also, today is doing a blood typing of your donor, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it's on the back written. ARH plus.
Yes.
So you know the blood type. So when you want to do compatibility testing, you need to know the blood type of your donor, but also of your patient. And then you go cross-match. You can do two cross-matches. One is the short version. And the short version is in saline. The direct test for cross-matching. It takes only 5 to 10 minutes, as you know. But you may never rely on that cross-match for your patient. Never do this, please. Save your patients and different life. Because what you do see is that this immediate cross-match is a method to design to detect ABO incompatibility. So, is the blood type what I detected in my donor, or is written on the back, compatible with the blood type I detected in the patient? It's a check. Nothing more than that. So for all the other antibodies, we need to check with the indirect antibody test, the complete test. How is this working? What you do see is here on the left side, the tube of the patient with serum or plasma, and there are antibodies in it. Hopefully not, because it's a big problem, but there are antibodies in it. What you do is then you take some red cells from your donor, mix it with the patient's serum, and you let it incubate. When there are antibodies against these red cells, they will attach to the membrane of this red cell. But this red cell has a potential, a positive load and a negative load. So this antibody is not large enough, so it's in fact what you call an incomplete antibody. The IgG is incomplete, so it can't stick together. So when this and this is too far away to connect by one immunoglobulin. So we need to find something. We have antibodies loaded on the membrane, as you see here in the middle. And what you do see here then also is that when you add an anti-human immunoglobulin, anti-human IgG to that, and that's made by the Babir, the codes. So when you add that, you have sufficient space. So this takes a longer time. So indirect antibody screening. Oh, sorry, going a little too fast. Yeah. So for cross-matching, we need also, for the compatibility testing, we need the indirect or the extended, the complete cross-match, as you may. So we can also do a type and screen technology. This is being done now more in the high-income countries, in Colombia and many countries in Europe. What is it? In fact, it's almost the same. What you do is you check, you take your bag, you check whether this bag is correct in the blood type. You take the blood type of the patient and you do a check of it or the immediate cross-match. So you can do this in parts, very easy and very reproducible. And everybody can see it. When you do this on a plate or in a tube, you have problems with Marga will tell about. So this is the first part, similar. But then you screen for antibodies in your patient. And how you do that, that's done by doing indirect, the IATs and So this is the complete cross-match. I was looking for the word you use. So this is a donor panel. Highly selected donors, 3. Sometimes you use 2. That's dependent on what you want. You can make this by yourself with different donor panels, but these are highly selected tests you need. And of course, you want to have this result. But what if you find this result? It's 3+. Oh, I can't transfuse now because I have irregular antibodies. But you don't know anymore. You know that there are antibodies. You need an identification because based on this test, and this panel, you can see it's a B or an E or a small c or a B1 or a small k, Solano, Lewis A, or a KP. Which one is it? So we need to do an identification by panel. And these are, again, highly selected, and then you know you have an anti-big E in this patient. And what you do now? Oh, you're the alternative. Can I have 5 bags of big E negative of you? No, that's not tight. And that's the purpose of me standing here, to give this information and give you some advice like this. So there are antibodies that could kill your patient. So we need to talk about natural antibodies and irregular, or not natural antibodies. The natural antibody is an isohemagglutinins, which is directed against the A and the B antigen. And all of us, we have it. No exception. Why? We come without this, are we born? But we eat them. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been here now. So we eat, and these are sugars. And these sugars are also seen on some plants, but also on some bacteria that live in our gut. So we recognize that and make antibodies against something we don't have. On the contrary, we have also irregular antibodies. And usually these are more complicated antigens. And what you do see is these are the non-ABO antibodies. Mostly it's an IgG, while this is mostly IgM. Only in the O you can find IgGs, rarely also in the others. Usually, so this may develop after exposure. So you need to be exposed to that. So the screening for these antibodies is done with a 2 or a 3 cell panel. You need to have specific antigens on that. Otherwise, you're not very sure. And this is valid for 3 months when it's negative. Positive, not, but negative. It's valid for 3 months. Why 3 months? Avoiding the development of some chilies in it. Avoiding the development of antibodies in this period because of red cells that are still in the bloodstream, foreign red cells. Because how long is a red cell living? 120 days, and that's 3 months. Otherwise, it's 72 hours. And that's completely a guess, because we don't know exactly, but it's giving the opportunity to go over the weekend. And we do this in a 2 or a 3 cell. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, a question for you. How many blood groups do we have? And how many antigens? Blood type antigens.
More than 40 groups. More than 400.
400.
I don't know. 3 years ago, it was
How many blood groups do we have?
more than 40.
Sorry?
More than 40.
Yeah, more than 40. 40. 43. And how many antigens, different antigens are there? Because you have blood type A, A1, A2, AX, AN, etc., etc., etc. You have also in the Bs, you have in the RHB, you have maybe 30 or 40 different variations. In the C, you have a lot of small c, you have a lot of variations. The E, you have a lot of variations. The Cal, you have a lot of variations. The Cal, the small, so the big K, the small k, the KPA, the KPB, etc. And think also of the CW, or the F, of the G, the HN. So we have more than 370, could be already 380, we don't know exactly, different blood types. That's a lot. So we can have regular antibodies from the ABO and irregular antibodies from all the others. So why is this? Why do we have antibodies? Why do you think this? What's the difference between a man and a woman? Yeah, because of pregnancy. The baby is made from a part of the male and a part of the female, of course. So when you are the mother, you carry, in fact, during 9 months, an antigen, which is not yours, so you can make antibodies. And we also know that almost always all antigens go through the placenta. All blood is going through the placenta every day again. So, organ transplants, pregnancy, and blood transfusions. And we keep our eyes on the blood transfusions and the pregnancy. So what we need to do is checking up everything, checking everything. What we need to do is an indirect antiglobulin test for the irregular antibodies. So we come to the conclusion already that this is needed. Now it's needed that I go to the next slide. Yeah. For this, we need to focus on these beautiful cells, which are the red cells. Yes. And we're going to concentrate on the membrane. And we go closer and closer and closer, we will see this. So we have here, the membrane, outside the membrane, inside the cell, outside the cell. And on the cell wall, you see all kinds of antennas. And these antennas are the antigens, the red cell antigens. And these antennas are the blood types, the different blood types. And you see all variations. You see with the lung, with this through it, going through it. You see also sometimes antigens that go up and down, up and down, up and down. You see only small marks. You see these big ones, these big stats. Realizing this, you know that we have several blood types. We don't know what they do all Some we do know, but others we don't. So what we do see is we have 43 blood types, blood groups, with more than 370 antigens at this moment. 20 of them are important for transfusion at this moment. Not meaning that the other 370 can't give problems, but when you have these 20, they are absolutely the top, and only a few persons of the locality remain. So these antennas could be proteins, carbohydrates, glycoproteins, or lipids, whatever. All is possible. All is an antigen. So what you see here is the ABO antigen. It's all. Only 5 sugars. In other words, the H part. And when on this part is an acetylgalactosamine, or Marga sugar, in fact, it's not type A. When the B is there, so a galactose, it's not type B. When you have both, and of course, this is given by your DNA, your basics, genetics, how you get it, based on what from your father to your mother. So when you have the A and the B, you are blood type AB. And when you don't have here this sugar, you are blood type O, some call it blood type H. Others look otherwise and more complicated. So the question is now, do we need to test them all?
No.
I hear yeah, I hear no. Let's find out. Is that okay? Yes. Every blood group is an antigen, and an antigen is a substance that could be that could be an immune response, could give an immune response after connection. And below that, there is some differences. For instance, the basis D, FHD. It's much more immunogenic than the next one. 50 to 70%. So when you give a wrong transfusion, you have 50 to 70% chance in getting an anti-FHD. The next one is Cal. So 50 to 70% for the D. The Cal, the big K, it's only 5. So 5% chance. For the next one, it's a small c. It's only 3. 2 and 3. The big E, 1.8 to 2. And the remaining is much lower. But there is more. When we take blood transfusions, and you and I would have the same bag, I could make the antibody and you not. But it might be that I am a high response, you not. So the individual reaction ability is also of importance. And of course also the power, the sticking power, etc. from this antibody. It's different whether it's IgG or an IgM, but also could this IgG activation or IgM activation lead to a complement activation? All this could lead to nothing, but also to very severe hemolytic transfusion reactions. Not only the transfusion, but also when you have this antibody, and your baby has the antigen against this, of which this antibody is there, you have the hemolytic disease of the fetal and the newborn. So you don't want that. So also it's disease dependent. When you have a sickle cell disease, you have much more chance in making antibodies than not. The other problem is when you already have an antibody, you have 20 to 25% chance in getting another one. Also, when you already have antibodies, you have more potential to make autoantibodies. So it's really important when you want to think this over and you need to decide something in your blood transfusion service or in your clinic, in the transfusion laboratory in your clinic, you need to know prevalence in your population. Because otherwise you need to test all. And when you know your prevalence, you can bring this baby back to only what is needed. Or start what you think that is the most important. So look at this. You and I are different. I'm Caucasian. You are Asians. So there is a difference between blood frequencies. When you look at South America, for instance, 100% of them have blood type O. 100%. There is no blood type A or B found there. Only very rarely. It usually comes from foreigners, too. But also the others. Look at Caucasians at the day factor. 85% of us has the D. So do I. I'm O positive. 15% is negative. So the possibility is that a D negative will test antibodies. And that could harm the baby. But you, 99.8%, so 2 in 1,000 have only D negative. So when you have somebody that is D negative and needs blood transfusions, it's a challenge for you to find something. And so you see, there are all kinds of differences, and you should know in your own population this. So, but also, so not only know what is positive and what is negative, and this is in the Asian population. Also, what is the effect of this when you have a transfusion reaction? When I do it wrong, can be no reaction or very severe reaction. And what is it doing in the baby? Look at the difference. I don't want that. Look at this difference. We never test for the deltas of the brain. We never test it. It's not important in our heads. But in you population, 15% of you is Miltenberger A positive. And the Miltenberger is also one that gives severe transfusion reactions, especially in your baby. We don't know, it's never written down in the population because we don't know this, because in the Western world it's very rare that you have a Miltenberger reaction. So know your population. And especially, I would like to say something before, of course, all of this is placed on the chromosomes. So you get something from your father, you get something from your mother. So you get a blood type from your father, and then you get also a blood type from your mother. And they can come together to expression. For instance, here what you see is you have a big K and a small K. It's very rare. Everybody almost is small K positive, maybe K negative. So also this you have to, but also in the field time. This. And we're talking about this anti-Big E, you know. Yeah, you know. Okay. There's something else. Besides the acute hemolytic transfusion reaction, we have also a delayed transfusion reaction. A lady had, when she was 20, she got pregnant and she made hit A antibodies. And 30 years later, nobody is detecting this anymore because they decrease enormously under detection. And she comes for a hip surgery. And you decide, because the hemoglobin level is too low and the bleeding, to give transfusions. And 10 days later, she calls you. Hey, doc, I feel so shit. And I'm peeing blood. You say, okay, let's find out. And you find out that you have anti-give A. That's possible. 10 to 14 days later, the patient is already going home. So we had an anti-Big E. That's easy because 60% of the populations is E negative. Only 30% has this big. So easy to find a donor. You take 10 bags of blood, and so you need in our patient 3 units of blood, which are asked for. So you do cross-matching and you find rather easily 4, 5, 6 units that are compatible to our patient. But now, how to do when you find an anti-small e. So when you find an anti-small e, you can only give this blood, which is able in 4% of your population. So you need to do, for 4 units, you need to cross-match at least 100 units. How good would it be that you have these on the shelf? So, pregnancy, blood transfusion pregnancies. There's blood transfusion and pregnancy. In looking at that, it can be avoiding that. So, again, this is what you see the difference. You want to avoid the hemolytic disease of the newborn. You don't want, as a just born baby, that your just born baby is going to die. You're so happy you were pregnant, and then the child is coming. Yes, my daughter is born. And 2 days later, I'm so sick. That's hard living for a mom. So you don't want that. So what you do is, you're avoiding that you get the wrong husband. So you fall in love with a beautiful prince on your home. A beautiful guy. And you're so in love. You decide to go to test. Oh my God, he's not my God. So you have to decide, no, we can't marry. And I need to marry that ugly guy. I hate him. That's not what we do. We're humans. We let everything go, because we can avoid that. What we do is, ladies, avoid the development of CE, especially also Cal. So give ABO compatible, day compatible, but also CE and Cal compatible. You could discuss also the Miltenberger compatible. But not only ladies in the fertile age, so from 0 until 45, 50 years old. So that means that you have a responsibility in the hospital to do this, to test for this, and ask and find compatible donors for that. But also for your multi-transfused patients, like thalassemia, or specific MDS, or myelofibrosis. So it's important that you have a donor pool also. So your donors need to be screened also. The advantage of that is when you test all your donors, you make database of that. So here in Côte d'Ivoire, you could have a request from Jakarta. You have a beautiful donor, or from Semarang, or from Solo, or here in Jakarta. So you could have, you're more able to find the compatible donor for that. And secondly, when you have a database, you have knowledge about your own population. Because usually the donor is, yes, it's a healthy population, but it's a population and it's true to your whole population. So transfusion labs and transfusion doctors in the blood transfusion service in the UTD's need to discuss this. They need to talk with each other. Do we need this here? Because it's money, it's cost. I know I work a lot in low and middle income countries. That's fine. You belong to the middle income countries, but the lower part of the middle income countries. But you have a very good health system here in Indonesia. So economics together with the health system, which is used by the World Health Organization, WHO, is telling you that on the HDI index, you are a high level country. So based on that, I think we could come to the conclusion that it is advisable to screen and use compatible blood components for female patients in the childbearing age. ABO, at least ABO, D, C, E, L, but also the blood donors. When you started in this way, and you have your first results, and you have a reasonable donor pool, then you can, in a later stage, also go to what's more important. So, based on what you detect in your donor pool, what your population is, you can decide to continue this in Duffy's or Lewis or Lutheran or the MNN or the SS system or whatever. It's important in your system. And you can keep in mind that Miltenberger is rather frequently used. So, another 5 minutes on the platelet antigens. The question is this needed to be tested? Wow. Yes or no? I hear yes. So clearly, yes. Are you doing it already?
No.
No.
Yeah. Yes, needed. No.
Shall we discuss whether it's needed or not?
Oh.
We have a patient. A patient is coming in, and you get a request. I have a patient, a male patient, 73 years old, has an acute male with leukemia and needs blood transfusion. His blood type is AB, and he needs platelets. What choice ABO are you going to take? Tell me. Who dares to say it loud? Because you can't make any mistakes. Can you take AB? Can you make A's? Can you make B's? Can you make O's? You can give them all. A, B, AB, and O. Without any problem. Because everything is possible. We don't care in this case about the minor incompatibility. That's not a problem. This guy is AB RH negative. This is a real case from the Chipto 3-4 years ago. I was called for that. What to do? How do you find an AB negative platelet donor? Do you have them in your system? No. No. That's difficult, eh? This is a male patient, and you can give him all. You can give the O positive without problem, A positive without problem, B positive, AB positive. So you can take all. Referred is then increased platelets and look reduced because you see less NTB formation. So important is testing what it's doing. When you see your patient has 5,000 platelets, you decide to give a unit of platelets, an apheresis unit, or you gave 8 to 10 PFPs. So it's increasing to 50. Don't do this, that's nonsense. Because you have an increase from 5 to 50 to 45,000. That's more than sufficient. But now is your patient going from 5,000 to 8,000 on a complete unit? 300 times 10 to the 9 platelets you give it, which is normally given an increase based on the size of 30 to 50,000 platelets. What's going on? You need to find out. So you are the doctors and say to the doctor and the hematologist in the hospital, you want platelets. Okay. Is there something going on? Is there something going on? So then you take the correct count increment, which is the increment multiplied with the body surface area split divided by the number of platelets in the system. And if it's above the 7.5, then is there a bleeding or something? Is it below the 7.5? You have antibodies. Usually these are HLA antibodies. Sometimes about 10% is HPA antibodies. And a little bit lower, we have HLA or HPA, about 1%. So this patient was good in the first week, and after a few weeks, we saw there was no increment anymore, and this was due to antibodies. So, but we need to understand that no increment can be because of bleeding. the patient is bleeding a lot, or there is a diffuse interface of blooding, or there is an infection with a sepsis. Specific medication, antibiotic medication. At that time, it's not of any use otherwise than giving more platelets. And this will help them. Not going from 300 to 600. No, go to twice, 3 times 300. So splitting up the dose per 2 days. So 2 to 3 times platelets of a normal dose per day. Besides that, you can have antibodies. These antibodies can be of anti-A and anti-B, of course, because the A and B antigen are on the platelet. Besides that, also HLA antibodies or HBA antibodies. And usually we get these from females because of the pregnancy. That's why most patients in your hospital that are refractory are from the female gender. Or have blood transfusion. Sometimes with whole blood. Whole blood, a lot of white cells in it. Or non-loop reduced. That's also the reason that you want, preferably in your multi-transfused patients, you want to give filtered blood. Organ transplant can be also, we know we can get HLA antibodies after a kidney transplant. That's possible. So, I go to Dr. Dia and I tell her, Dr. Dia, I am Dr. Hulst from Tito. Can you please give me a platelet unit which is O positive and has the donor has an HLA type A1, A2, B7, B8. It's not possible. No, because you don't have a type donor. What should we do? How to find an HLA compatible donor? Very easy. I wonder why we have such problem.
I'm interested.
Yeah. Because we always ask the question, ladies and gentlemen, who has a brother or a sister?
As a brother or sister?
Well, who of you has brothers and sisters? Nobody. Yes. You're also inviting only people that are single.
Siapa ini siapa yang punya kakak adik, brother and sister? Yang punya kakak adik.
I think that almost all of you do have a brother or a sister. Hey, you have the same mom and you all also the same dad, isn't it? What is your sister or brother of you? She is brother because your HLA system is coming from your daddy and your mommy. So who is compatible? The brother or the sister of the patient. So you ask the patient, do you have brothers and sisters that could give blood? If you do, as a good donor doctor, you go to this patient donor and check whether this donor is able to donate. This could be so brothers and sisters, but also might be father and mother, even adult children, but not preferably because the child is the reason that you got the antibodies. And all, of course, not the partner, because he is the reason that you got the antibodies. So, but don't blame him. He was this beautiful guy who watched them. So, preferably we irradiate it to avoid graft versus host disease, transfusion associated graft versus host disease. That you usually don't have. You can also take a free supply randomly, but it's not working in this case. But it's possible to do this. And check the increment. Check always. But first, do cross-matching. Cross-match this person or this group of persons with the patient. Do platelet cross-matching, and after that, you know what you have. You win time for the patient, you win time for yourself as blood transfusion service, and you win money, because giving random platelets is losing platelets. It's going away platelets. And usually you don't have that much platelets today. So platelet cross-matching. So coming to a conclusion, 5 to 10% have HLA antibodies. HLA is more frequently, about 80 to 85%. Platelet cross-matching of family donors for the optimal donor. So not platelet testing in a normal donor. No cross-matching in a normal donor, because this is not needed. It's wasting money. But only if you have refractoriness. And maybe people like you, and Dr. Pakar, could talk to Minister of Health and they could things like that in the future. But this would take 20 to 30 years. The costs are about 10 million, 10 million, so per donor. So this is a lot. So you need help of that. So we did it in our way by combining this with CD34, so stem cell collect and making donor tools for stem cells.
The goal is the power for the knowledge, said with us. And for the second lecture, we have Mrs. Marga. I can use the language skill. It took place good 29 February 1960 at Rotterdam, Netherlands, and nationality is Dutch. Education, medical science, medical microbiology with specialty radiology at Farmasi Institute Rotterdam. Now, she and employee of K account manager global SANQUIN region, and the hobby is okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's the most important.
Okay, and after the 2003 until November 2009, head of Vrielink laboratory erythrocyte serology at SANQUIN blood bank, and January 2009 until May 2020, sales and account manager SANQUIN, and then at May 2020 until present. Yes, until present as a account manager for SANQUIN. And you have a nice hobby, diving, horseback riding, and camping. Yes, and camping. Okay. And now I think 50 minutes is enough for you. No, I don't think so. Okay. Please.
I will try to do it
Okay.
fast. Well, you all have done some ABO testing, maybe
on glass, and things like that, but also in tubes. And maybe you're working in tubes and you see a little bit of a positive reaction. We're doing like this, and you want to show it to her, and then it's gone. Yeah, then it's gone. So you have to do it again or again to see it, yeah? To show it to other people and ask, can we talk about it? What's wrong? What do I have to do more? Yeah, because of that, you are irritated by that. We make some strips. And this is the one we made. This is the cell bite column test, and it has an incubation compartment, high density medium, and a separosomate matrix. The incubation compartment, then you can put in your cells, as you do also in your tube, yeah, and your plasma or antibody. Well, always start with your cells, because your cells are having the antigens, yeah? And when you put on your antibodies, it's going to all those cells, those antibodies, and attaching to all those antigens. If you do it the other way around, it won't work that much. So be aware of that. Now, you put it in, recentrifuge it, and then it's coming to the component where you can see it's the high density medium, and in it it's an anti-IgG, an anti-IgM, and a C3D. Why do we need that? Because if there is an IgG, it's too small to make a clone. So you need an antibody to make a clone, to catch all those erythrocytes. Well, when you have done that, you make the centrifugation, and that's in case of an ABO, of course, so you don't have to go to the incubator. Then you see your cells forming an agglutinate on the top of the gel matrix. But you don't know yet if they are positive or negative. Then you centrifugate very, very, very hard, and then you can see if they are on top, they are positive, and they are down, they are negative. And this stays this way for more than a week. So I can go to you, I can go to you, you can see it also. And if there's something wrong, we can talk about it, we can see it. And it's even as fast as actually doing it in a tube. And somebody is doing like this. I had some doctors, he has a rack, doing like this. No, you don't see anything, then everything is negative. Have you seen that also? Somebody doing it? You have your rack for the tubes and they do it like this. And all your agglutination is gone. Because they were thinking that you have to do it like, not like this, but can also do like this. Well, for here, you cannot make any mistake. So sensitizing, 3D information, agglutination, and then the result. There, you have some noise for me. So I show you the results, how it's in real life. To get them out of the centrifuge, of course, we have done 3 samples. You can already see it, I think so. You can tell me now, I think so. The first patient is A negative, B negative, B positive. Second patient, so. So the first one is called positive, and the second one is also called positive, yeah? Then you take your third card, and then you can see what's here. What do we see here? B positive, exactly. So, gone with very right polymer. Well, if you look at this, Dr. Han already told you that it's very important to look at where are you from. Because when you Caucasian, it looks like this. And all the papers you see are always about Caucasian people, yeah? But the blacks are different. And look at those American Indians. They don't have an E antigen, no B antigen, no AB antigen. And they are always O. So it's important to know where you're from. This is only the beginning, but when you're coming further and further on, you will see it's very important. Because also you are mixed, yeah? So you have to know where is your origin, where's laying your origin. Are you from one side or the other side, and where are you going from in Asia? Well, the most important antigens are, of course, the D, the big C, the big E, little c, and E. And the D antigen is by us, Caucasians, 85% is positive, D positive. 15% only is negative. So we have a lot of anti-D, yeah? 15% of our people is negative. Me, for example, I'm D negative. Well, then you have a problem. But by you, there's the same problem as we have, only others. Who has seen a D antigen test who is 2+ or 1+? Who has seen it? Not 4+, not very, very strong, but a little bit stronger or weak. Yeah, have you seen that? Yeah, then you have a problem, ladies. Because you are still D positive, but there's a problem in there. Because the D antigen has very many variations. And if you see it like this, you have the amplified D antigen, and that's increased antigen. So big D antigen. Increased antigen you see by older people or immunosuppressed people sometimes, or people with some diseases. But when you look at the quality, like here, the qualitative, then you can have a partial D and a D variant in which one or more epitopes are missing. And what can you see then? Then you can see a D positive person with an anti-D. And you will tell me that's an auto-anti-D, yeah? But it's not true. Because when you're with D, then you have less D antigens and normal D antigen. So what is there? It's still normal. And you cannot make an allo anti-D. But when you also have those weak reactions, you can have missing some several epitopes. And you can make an allo anti-D. How does it work? Well, you see, this one is the negative. This is a positive with normal amounts of D antigen on its surface. And the antigen look like this. Then you go to the weak versus D antigen. And you see there are less antigens on the surface. But it's normal. But here you have a D variant. And you see one part is changed. This part is there. Most of it, it's a C or a D epitope that's gone over. So, well, when you are transfusion, this person with the weak D, and you give him this D, no problem, because he knows this antigen, and those are the same. But if you transfuse this unit to this patient, well, you're making an anti-D against this part because that's missing. Yeah? Let's see it like this. This is a D6 variant. Maybe you have heard of it, because that's the most common one. Yeah, this one is there, this one is there, this is also there, but this one is missing. This also. Okay, then I have a problem because I can make, to all those epitopes, I can make an entity. And when you do that, 50 to 70% will make that antibody. So if you have a woman with a 2+ reaction, you have to think, can I choose this person with a D positive unit? What's your answer? What's your answer on my question? Can you transfuse a positive unit to a person with a 2+ reaction in your G antigen reaction? Your G antigen test? No, because you don't know. So then you have to fulfill this test. You have to do a polyclonal and a monoclonal antigen. And normal when it's positive, your controls are negative, and this one is positive, you have to do positive push. When everything is negative, everybody is negative. But then when the polyclonal is negative, only the monoclonal is positive, you have a possible weak D antigen. But on the other hand, when you have a positive polyclonal and a negative monoclonal, then you see you have to deal with an anti-D. So when you see this in a donor, the donor is always positive. No problem with the donor, because you only transfuse positive to positives, and positive people don't make those antibodies, yeah? So, no problem. But when it is patient, you have to be aware this is the recessive negative person maybe, or positive with the variant. So I have to give them negative blood, otherwise they make antibodies. And you have a problem with your baby. And your baby is positive, most likely, because most of the people here are positive. So your baby will be positive also. Then you have a problem and you're making anti-D against your baby. But there's also in the research, when you look here, it's also important how to transfuse your people. And you see the strengths differences between all those. And Han already told us research scale and MIA are the most important here. Well, do you also do direct anti-globulin test? Do you perform that? Okay.
Yeah, they do, but it's complete cost.
Oh, no, it's not a complete cost-matching test. Direct anti-globulin test. The dot. So you're putting a little bit of it, a little bit of that, put it in the centrifuge, and read out. Are you doing that for the patient? No? Okay. Well, because when you see a positive direct anti-globulin test, then you know the cells are sensitized. So there's a problem, yeah? There's an antibody that's sitting in the cells. But you perform this test into room temperature. So what you see is an IgM. Is an IgM important when you do that for transfusion? When it's not ABO, but another IgM, is that important for you? No, because IgMs are only reactive most of the time, 99.9%, are only reacting at room temperature. What's your body? What's the temperature of your body? 37 degrees. So does this IgM working into your body? No. So how can you know that? You take another card, IgM is out of it, and then you see this, and then the reaction is negative. And how can you see that when you perform your ABO? Well, you do your ABO repeatedly and you take a control with you. That's the first time you are doing this with a patient, yeah? A long ABO repeatedly. And then you look at the control and there's an extra balance. And if you put it in the other part and it's gone, it's an IgM. What are we doing? Dr. Anne already told you, CECAL compatible for women because of those antibodies. Also, with patients with other antibodies, sickle cell diseases, thalassemia, the MDS, the myelodysplastic syndrome, and the autoimmune hemolytic syndrome. Then you try to test the rhesus. Because otherwise, if you don't compare them, they make other antibodies. Now this is, you have seen it manual, and this is the machine who can do it if you want to type your donors. Because donors, you have a lot, yeah? So maybe typing then is a problem for you. So if you want to type, you can do that also in the cards. Where you can do your ABO, your screening, your force mats, but you can also type your donors. It looks like this, but you already seen it, yeah? Let's skip those. When you have a lot of patients or a lot of donors, very lot, then you can combine 4 machines to 1 computer. So one can do ABO, one can do the screening, one can do the identification, and one can do something else. If you want. This is what you can put into your machine, and how it's waiting for on your table, yeah? It's not important now. It's continuous loading, so you can put in your samples, but take them out and put in new one, it will perform. And it looks like this if you look from above. You can easily make some replace compartments because you can do it by yourself. You don't need somebody to do this, only when you have to do the centrifuge. And spare parts are easy because they are there here in Indonesia. This is when you're working manual. You work with the cards in this station. Here you go for your samples, here your reagents, and here you can put your parts. This is a centrifuge for the cards, and this is special incubator. And this is already prepared to do the good trick for the centrifugation. Well, Han also talked with you about the antibodies in the platelets, yeah, and that you maybe need a course match. Well, we are unique in the world. We made the MASPAR test. It's a molecular antibody solid phase platelet antibody test, and it's a course match test which says to compatibility of donor platelets with the patient. So, and it can also detecting of antiplatelet antibodies in patient serum. Well, you know, the ABH, Lewis, P and I, and HLA class are the most common one, are there. But if you want to look at the platelets, then look at this row. Oh yeah, and there's another one too. So that's not easy to see which antibody you have. But if you can, oh, sorry. And now this is how it looks like on the platelets. And if you look at all those antibodies and the frequencies of the antigens, here you see the frequencies in the population of the world. And also there you see there's a difference between some races. And also your Indonesian races are different. For example, A1, 1A, 1B, 26% of the population is positive, but in the Indonesian status, only 2%. So there's a difference between all those. Be aware of that always. Well, for patients, you make this platelet test, and when it is an incompatibility, then you have a problem. That's cost you a lot of money because it's a longer stay. The higher cost because maybe you do another platelet transfusion and another platelet transfusion, but also it is increasing the mobility and the mortality, for the patient. And that's not so nice because you don't want to suffer them. Well, a big part I already told you is about sepsis, fever, active bleeding, and drugs. But a part of it is also immune related. And the immune are this part for the XLA, and this is for the APA outer box. Well, why? I don't know. Okay, so you know, antigen present in the platelets are those, and the consequences are those. And the illnesses, well, you don't like them. And those are the not so easy to treat, yeah, and it's there. Well, the principle of the test is a solid phase-based technique. So you get a plate that's already, well, I lost the word. That's already coated. It's already coated. So in English is not my native language, yeah. So it's already coated, and you add some platelet you want to transfuse to the plate. Then you centrifuge it, and after it you wash it. After that you put your patient serum. Then you incubate for 30 minutes at 37 degrees and wash again. Then you add your anti-IgG, because it's the same as with your antibodies, IgG antibodies, they cannot clot when there is no anti-IgG, because they cannot find each other. And then you have your mass spec indicate the red cells, because otherwise you can't see anything. Because platelets are not colored, your plasma is not colored, so you couldn't see anything, yeah? So, and then you see this one, and then you can centrifuge and read the results. And negative results look like this. There's a hard on the bottom, up, and again it's doing it. And there you have your positive ones and your weak positive ones. So, patient with platelets transfusion, your lab performs the mass spec test, and the patient has a reduced risk. They are saving you money and also time, because 90 to 120 minutes, that's not much to have a good platelet. But you also can do it by the brother and the sister, and already told you, take out only a tube, and when you have the right one, you can do it with your machine for the collection of your platelets for the patients. Well, you don't want to see a little baby like this, and that can happen. That's not so nice for the mother. Or one like this, and look at the brains. Wow, yeah, that's not nice to have such a baby, yeah? No. So that's what we try to provide. Well, if I skip this all because Anne already told it, and this is your test kit. This is the kit. This is your coated solid phase. This is your IgG. This is your list. This is your negative and your positive reaction. And this part is your indicator red cells. This part, except this one, you can hold for more than 3 months. But this one, because they are red cells, you only can keep there for 4 weeks. So that one you have to replace every 4 weeks. You don't have to use the plate at once, because you can take out the stripe like here. So you can use one by one for a patient with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, But you can also put them all together. For maybe if you want to see, if you have a well-known antibody, then you can also test your drug. So that was my presentation.
Teman-teman saya minta jurnalnya ya, saya ini kita juga semua kerja.
Selamat pagi.
Selamat pagi. Sehat luar biasa.
Okay.
Okay.
Please, you can drink.
Oh, really?
Thank you very much for the presentation. Both of you, Depan and Marga. And now I open question for audience here. I think you can raise your hand for us to Mr. Hans or Ms. Marga. Please. Okay. I think I am open to question for audience here, and one question I will read from the chat box. Okay. Okay. You can mention your name and where are you from.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nugroho. I'm from POLITEKNIK, and currently this is my second semester in POLITEKNIK. My question is, when will this antigen testing be carried out, and are there any suggestions for other patients that if a woman repeat infusion test?
The answer on the question was the same as I put in the role. Women lower than 45 years. And now you know.
Female patients below 45 years or 50 years relevant to discrimination of the national rules in that. So females within the childbearing age, so let's say 45 years or younger, should be confused with C, E, so small c, big K, big K, blood. So also the lot of confused patients. People like not getting 100 units at a time, but 100 units over time. So not the emergency care patients, but patients with thalassemia that was on a regular basis, because of infusions. Leukemia patients, MDS patients, thalassemia patients, especially. They need CE help.
Question from second semester from BSc.
And then, once again, I will give you this. Okay, from the SC again, okay.
Oh, PMI mana ya?
Nanti ya, di sini ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Julie from fourth semester of Blood Bank Technology at Bhakti Indonesia POLITEKNIK. You said that the cross match of platelets from family donors is optimal. So let me ask you some questions about the reasons. What the reasons?
The reason that you should do the platelets cross matching is find the compatible donor without doing the apheresis procedure. The apheresis is disposable costs lots of money, so and time. So and when you waste it by throwing it away because it's not compatible, then it's a waste of donor time. It's a waste of money for the UTD. It's a waste of time for the patient because it's not working. So finding the optimal donor among the family members, you don't want to harm the donor also. So finding the optimal donor among the family members, those for that reason we need to cross-match. And then when the cross-match is okay, we can have, so it's negative, you can use this person as a donor, and you can use it according to your own regulations. So, I don't know, sometimes it's we can ban it. We say that we have regulations once per week or once per 40 days. But when this is the only donor which is available, we can ban it with the regulations to say, okay, we do it twice a week. So that.
That's the answer.
Okay, thank you. Very good answer to Mr. Hans. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
But maybe there are indeed more compatible in the family, so you can make a choice to the best donor and the second best have, because such a period takes 2 to 3 weeks, so you need 2 to 3 weeks to cover the platelets.
All the female family donor, and he had the giving.
Yeah, so in the normal, I said something about bending regulations.
In theory.
Yeah, but in theory, you want only male donors.
Yes.
But because of avoiding the disease names. No, avoid, yes, it's late, but avoiding what disease in your patient, confusion related to acute lung injury. That's the reason that females are less, are less requested as donors. But, so in our country, we don't take any female donors or platelets or for transfusion of FFP. So HLA we take because HLA is more dangerous than the TRALI. The TRALI is that low frequency and antibodies. So why do you have 100,000 donations from females and you see never TRALI? Why did a patient of a donor donate 100 times renal donor and never caused TRALI, and others do cause TRALI? That's a stupid coincidence between this donor and this patient, and nothing else, because it's a 2 or 3-step reaction in the body. So I should take, in this case, standard also female donors.
Okay, not use female donor in Hans country, those Marga's donor. I think we can consider this donor, yeah? Okay, yeah.
Minister should consider.
Because it's still two female donor, you know, in Indonesia, not just India, I think. You know. Okay.
One of my friends is a donor in Indonesia, and she is a female patient. Yeah, but anyway, to be, and I think the females might feel proud now. They are stronger than a male, and the female donor has a high number of platelets, and that's much more, about 30,000 platelets per liter more than a male donor. The females are better. It's hard to say. Females are better than males.
And I can do some example examples. Okay, student. Okay, student from the Zoom. Maybe you can ask questions by writing. You can add on the chat book on your Zoom, and I will read from you to the lecturer. And please, Dr. Ria, you can ask.
Dr. Hans and Dr. Marga. I'm Dia from PMI Kota Yogyakarta. According to our last discussion about the trolley, can we prevent trolley with leuco reduction or leukodepleted filter or not? And my second question, here in Indonesia, mostly we only perform donor screening antibody only without patient screening antibody. So if we only perform donor screening antibody, do we need to perform Mayer and autocontrol cross-matching, or we can only perform Mayer cross-matching? I think it's a common question. Okay, we need your suggestion. Thank you very much.
No, I give the first question back to you.
Yes.
What is causing the trolley?
HLA.
HLA or HNA antibodies in the donor.
Yeah, HLA antibodies in the donors.
Yeah.
If it meet with HLA in the recipients.
Yeah, so the trolley is caused because of HLA antibodies in the donor that activate granulocytes of the patient.
Yes.
Why should you be able to avoid trolley with taking away the white cells? So white cell depletion is not a method to avoid trolley. The second question, I forgot.
Now, the second question is, if you do the donor type and screen for antibodies, then you have to do that also with the patient. Type and screen, always. And that is why the method is called type and screen, because when you screen and they are both negative, no antibodies, and your blood group is the same, then you can match. Except when they are having disease or women who are not 45 years away. Yeah. So then you can, and that's what we call type and screen, and then you can computer match. But then you have to do it them all. So all your donors, all your patients.
The typing is for all the donors. And what you don't want is too much antibodies in the patient, in the donor too, because high titer antibodies in your patient can cause some hemolysis and some reactions in the patient. So that's the reason that you have to screen your donors at least once, and furthermore, after every moment that you can get development of the irregular antibodies. So you have to screen them at least once, and females after giving birth and coming back as a donor, after blood transfusions, etc. Then you need to, but it's only once. You don't need to do antibody screening in every donation again. That's not needed. But antibody screening in a patient, I would say it's not done when you don't do it. So I know, we talked yesterday with Dr. Titin, she's doing it. Dr. Tigu is doing it. So most of the hospitals are really doing it. So screening for antibodies. Yeah, on the big hospitals, the small hospitals not. And for that, these cards are very ideal. So you can have small cards that are longer time available.
And then I will check. When can we get positive cosmetic result when donor blood has been tested for negative antibody screening? Control, negative auto-control, Darah Campus is negative.
So the donor is negative?
And the Studi can be used for prevention. Yes.
The donor is negative, so the auto-control.
I didn't see the chart of telling about the donors negative or not.
So how can you get a positive cross match?
Okay. Can you so there's a positive cross match. There is positive. We know cross-match result. We know cross-match result. While donor blood has been tested for negative antibodies.
Yeah. Sometimes you have seen what Han was showing you, and that's really common, not so common, because on the donor screening cells, on the screening cells, not every antigen is there. That are the most common antigens. But sometimes when you have a private antigen, so a donor has a private antigen, and already the patient has made an antibody, then you get, of course, a positive cross-match. That can happen. And also the other way around. The donor is screened, and although we are telling everybody he's antibody negative, he can also has a positive low frequent antibody. No, you cannot do so. A positive cross-match is always not done. Even if you don't know. A positive cross-match is telling you, I'm positive. No, no. The patient has a problem.
Thank you for the reason. Sudah yakin semua alasannya kenapa nggak bisa diberikan tadi di Depan yang tanya. Oke, tapi yang tanya nggak bisa ada. If there is any question, no. If there is no question again, I think I will close this session, and for the time I get back to the Dr. Tika. Thank you, Mr. Han and Ms. Marga. I think you will stay until Dr. Tika.
For instance, the MIA is an example of that. It's not on the cell tests, on the cell panels, but MIA can give some fusion reactions.
Oh, and also the right arm.
Right arm, CW.
It's not for your panels, but can give positive or positive. That's what I mean.
Okay, I mean, so still we can use the blood for cosmetic positive, and we just consider it for our assay. I think I will closing this meeting with lecture today, and I will say nice to meet you all of you now, and I think from the BSE can give some supplement.
Okay, after this we have some supplement from the lecturers, Mr. Hans and Mrs. Marga. The first maybe will be delivered by Dr. Dia Rekam as the head of Teknologi. And the second is delivered by Mrs. Widadari.
This is Bhakti.
I don't wear that button.
Paradise Bhakti. So it's even.
Satu, dua, tiga. Satu, dua, tiga. Satu, dua, tiga. Satu, dua, tiga.
And this is the end of our session. Can I give applause? Thank you for Mr. Hans and Ms. Marga. And I will proceed with seminar today.